Go.
Hey students, we're going to be doing something just a little bit different today. We're going to combine pin curls and finger waves. I'm going to be showing you the result of finger waves done with pin curls, and then I'm going to show you how to do finger waves and then add pin curls to the bottom. This mannequin is pretty wet. Finger waves, I'll be honest with you, are really best done, let me get a towel here, are really best done on hair that is uniform layered. In other words, very layered, one length, 90-degree haircut. Anybody that understands that, it's easier. If you try it on doing one length hair, because of the molding, because of the carving around to make it, to create the ridges and to create that pattern, it's best to take it on long hair, and I'm going to show you to do pin curls as opposed to, and I'm going to show you that first, and then I'm going to show you how to do finger waves. But what I want to show you is the result of pin curls. I'm going to take this mannequin here on very long hair, and she's having a problem keeping that little piece back, but this was done with pin curls. But what I want you to see is that finger wave motion, and that's all it is just gentle waves coming down. Now if you have really long hair, it's a little bit more difficult, and again, there's a method to do those type of pin curl finger wave so that you get that effect. With finger waves, you're going to have an open end and you're going to have a closed end, and I'll explain that just a little bit better in a minute. So this is kind of on long hair. You can see that there's a lot of movement all the way from the scalp out. This was done with pin curls. I do have a mannequin that I'm going to show you in just a minute. Let me show you one with, I hope that doesn't fall down, excuse me guys, medium length hair. So you see how this falls a little better now. Again, pin curls, but look at the ridges that we got with that's called a ridge. It's between the two ovals, and you're going to create like C shapings when we do it. You'll understand that a little more. This hair is a little bit more layered, so you can definitely see the lines of the finger waves and all of that movement and motion, and it really, brings something out in the front. Again, this was done with pin curls. Let me put this one down. Really short hair doesn't show a lot. You see it? This was also done with pin curls. You can see the movement, but it's pretty much done, it does more with volume. What I'm going to show you in a minute is a short-haired one that I just did finger waves on. Finger waves, not pin curls. These were pin curls set in the direction of a finger wave. So I want you to get both so that you understand it. So if you just want a lot of volume, but you want all those waves in there, pin curls are your better measure than trying to finger wave it in. And finger waving is used not so often, but sometimes certain looks, like if you're in a drama class and you need finger waves. If you're going to do an updo and they want a few little finger waves, because you see it in some models and some pictures and stuff. So I'm going to show you finger waves real quick here. Here's my finger wave mannequin right here. Okay, so this is short. I want you to see it. This is called an open end. Sorry. This is called an open end. This is called a closed end. Open, closed. And do you see where it's just C shapings? One thing I want you to take note of, the part is at the upper ridge into the apex. That's why I detail small parts of the head form. The reason for that is because when it becomes detailed, if I were to say, well, just part it right there, just above the eye, we would all have a little bit of a different line. But if you know exactly where that upper ridge is at, right at the line of the apex, it's just above the parietal line, you'd know that, we'd all have the same part. So what you're going to do is you're going to create that first C shaping, and then you're going to mold this. And see that molding coming around. to the other side. So this line is this. And there is a way to do it. People get lost in it, but I'm going to give you step-by-step guided directions. What I want to do right now is I want to brush this out. And this one is without pin curls on the bottom. I do have one with pin curls on the bottom. So I'm going to brush it out so you can see what it does. And these cushion brushes are best for that because you can get right into it and see how that stays close to the head. You're not going to get the volume that you get with the pin curls. Just stays real close to the head. Not a lot of volume. Good movement though. You can see that. You can see that shaping in there. It's perfect shaping. Let me just use one brush here. Are you getting that okay, cameraman, or do I need to move this up?
Oh, looks good.
It looks good, okay. So I'm gonna just see, and I'm just brushing it down, but you can see if you have like a friend or something that's got really short hair and layered, and this hair's pretty short, as you can see, it's short, okay? But it's layered, it's all cut to one length, but you definitely see the line, even when I comb it back, of those finger waves, the ridges are in there. There's not a lot of volume. There's not gonna be. But if this had some highlights in it, or somebody with short hair that's gonna be going to a prom or something, and they just want something a little dramatic, okay, this would be it right here. And then you can just kind of tuck this in on the bottom, and they'd have that dramatic look. But this is the wave, this is the ridge. Finger wave, ridge, all right? So you would definitely see, sorry, come on, Jenny, get out of there. So see, and then again, this comes around. Now I'm going to show you one more that I've got pin curls on the bottom. It's a little bit longer. Cameraman, you want to hand me that one there, please? Okay. And as you can see, upper ridge. Oh, by the way, you section it. You section it up to the end. There's the upper ridge where we did the part, but you section it up to the end of the apex. Then that comes down. All right, so I'm going to put this down. I'm going to take the pin curls out, and you'll be able to see what just finger waving does and what putting pin curls in does. Because that's why we got all of that volume, because it was pin curled into a finger wave. So I'm going to show you how to pin curl into a finger wave, and I also want to demo in this. This is 30 minutes, so it's going to have to work fast. I hope you understand. All right, so I'm going to comb this down, but look at the volume we get. Oh, a little clippy fell out. Push it back, and we get all that movement. And you can get some good volume out of this. Pick it up and just poof it out a bit. Okay, so you see that coming out into that. All right, I'm going to come back around here. Okay, just kind of roll that brush in there and then just pull those pin curls out. And she'll get a lot of volume right at the nape. And yet, you'll be able to see that pin curl line in there. Oh, and I'm gonna share with you the pin curls on the bottom. Let me just keep taking this out for you. Then I'm gonna take it back behind the apex into the upper ridge just above the crown. And again, if you want to, what you can do is just kind of back brush it a bit. Now see that just come up? Give it even more volume. And I'm going to turn it real slow for you. Let me loosen this up. So if I back brush this, now remember we had that little line right there. Now I want you to see that. You can still kind of see it. All right, see that line? All right, I'm going to brush it. And see how that brushes back into it, that you can't see it anymore? but yet the lines of the finger waves are in there. So this is kind of like a sassy look, something somebody would, again, I'm just going to back brush it a bit, open it up a bit, give it a little bit of a wicked look there, bring it out, back brush it, just to pop it up. Now this also requires lots of gel to get that finger wave, and you can see that it's even in there with the curls. What I did with the pin curls, once I got to the nape line, in other words, the tip of the ear, I started the pin curls. This was going in this direction, so the pin curls went in the opposite direction, and then the next row went, so we still had that as pattern. So that's why you see that as pattern travel all the way down. And you can see that it just comes and just keeps going into that nice S pattern. And look at the volume, look at the profile on that. There's a lot of volume in there, a lot of movement. So this is a look. Is it an everyday look? No, but it's something that people might ask about. You do it on a client, they're going to be asking about it. Now this was in the dryer for quite a while because you're going to see the amount of gel that we have to use. Now, it's not wrong, however, to use a good solid mousse if you're going to do it on a client as opposed to the gel. So you might have to keep adding mousse as you go. But I mean, that is a really, really nice, just kind of airy, just kind of, you know, good volume. It's a different look, but yet people are going to wonder, how did they do that with the curling iron? But it wasn't done with the curling iron. It was done with pin curls and finger waves. So I'm going to quickly show you how I did the pin curl method. Let me get this mannequin over here. It's nice and wet. And let me go to the board real quick. I hope you guys can see. This is the top of the head. Okay, this is the parietal line. As you travel up the parietal line, you have your lower ridge and the upper ridge. I'm sorry, this is the head form. This is your parietal line. Sorry. Lower ridge, upper ridge, and then you've got your apex, right, on the very center. So if you're looking at the top of the head, the top of that mannequin's head, up here, you can see that. And especially if you know where it's at, like I said, that's the top of the head. Then you're gonna section off the frontal fringe bang. You're gonna put your line right here at the upper ridge, up here, right at the upper ridge. All right, so, and how do we find that? How do we find the upper ridge and lower ridge? Before I show you, once we do that, the first carving we're gonna do for a finger wave is C-sections coming forward. That's the top of the head, right above the upper ridge. We're going to travel only to the back of the apex, right at the end of the apex. Then we're going to do what's called molding. We're going to mold back around the head so that we create another open end here on this side. You'll see it in just a minute. Then we have a closed end. You always start your finger wave at the open end, okay? So finger waves, almost, you know, they still teach it in the schools, but teach it to understand is the difficult part. So I want to show you real quick. This is called molding. See it? I'm molding it. Do you see that wave in there? I'm going to try and do it without gel for a minute just to show you, but I am going to be adding gel, and you add, to do this on a mannequin, you want to add a lot of gel. So you see that molding? How do we find that upper ridge and lower ridge? Sorry, you guys. Lower ridge, where the comb leaves the head. Right there. Upper ridge, just above the parietal line. You know where the parietal line is? Again, where the comb leaves the head. So that carve, that parting is done at the upper ridge. The other thing that's done, when we mold it into that first C shaping, I'm trying to tighten this thing up, but I'm going to put it forward so you can see it. when we mold it into that first C shaping, we want to stay at the upper ridge on the other side. In other words, we don't want to take that C shaping to the parietal line. We want to take it, we're going to point it up to the center of the apex, place our finger, there's your steps. Shape, press with your finger, bring it down so that you are at the upper ridge on both sides. Your comb, you're only going to use about this much of your comb. Get into that, place your finger, bring it up. That's it. You see that that is on the upper ridge, that first motion, that first movement. Now I want this to stay, but this is the hardest part for people to get. Once you get this section and the second line, you got it. You're there. You're not going to have any problems traveling down other than when you get by the ear. And again, there's something else that we do there. So I'm going to put some gel on it, and I'm going to tell you, you see the gel? All right, lots of gel. To get this to work, to get the ridges that you want, you see those videos of it and stuff. Oh, look at that. You want to make sure and put lots of gel in it. And sometimes the gel kind of drops down to the floor and it looks like you got to get a hanky. I'm not even going to describe it. It does look a little bit gross when it comes onto the floor. So you might put some towels or something on the floor to keep from having to clean it up afterwards. So you can see that I have a ton of gel on there. Clean off my hands. Okay, so I'm going to take this, part it off again, bring it down to its natural fall. You can see that I'm at the back of the apex. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm getting in front of you guys, but I want to make sure this part is clean or else we're going to have problems later. Okay, there you go. All right, so I've got that in there, and everything now is combed down. First step, mold. Write it down. Pause this. If you want to learn how to do finger waves, pause this and follow every step. Just trust me, you'll get it. You're going to take your comb. You're going to hold your comb perfectly straight up into the head. All you're going to do is the comb is only going to go about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, starting at the front perimeter right within that frontal fringe area, but only going to the upper ridge, not all the way to the parietal line. So we're going to take it from the upper ridge here. We're going to go right to the center of the apex. There's your apex. Place your finger, step 2. Bring it down. There you go. You see that C shaping? Now I'm going to go behind it. Place the comb, take it up, mold, place my finger, comb it down. I've just got one tiny little section here, comb it down. All right, so you see that C shaping. It's in the exact same spot. So now I'm going to take my comb, we'll take it up one more time, bring it down. Take it up one more time, bring it down. I'm teaching this, so it makes it a little bit harder. I'm doing it sideways, so. Place your finger. This is how we create the ridge. You're going to take your comb, you're going to bring it forward. Next step, push it up. Switch fingers, put your middle finger and then your index finger right on the other side of the comb. And this time we start molding it slightly back. Do you see that ridge? Again, take this, place my finger, bring it forward, push it up, switch fingers, start molding it a little bit back. I've just got a small section. Place my finger, bring that up. What do I do now? What's the next step? Do I comb it down or do I push it up? Correct, I push it up. What do I do now? Switch fingers. See, it doesn't change. Take that comb, you want to create that ridge. Now, there you've got your first finger wave. You don't start here to molding it. You want to start at the back. So I'm going to mold it. Okay, see that coming in? Come back up to the back of the apex, and you're going to stay with this guide up at just slightly above the parietal line now, where there's the upper ridge. So here's the parietal line. So we're dancing between the upper ridge and the parietal line with this. So we're molding it, and please, now this is one thing that you have to be careful not to do. Don't do this. Do not do that. You mold it into just that one spot, into that one C shaping. That's all. You don't take it all the way across. You don't go any farther than that when you let it go. You don't keep moving. That's a mistake a lot of people make. They end up with that long piece. And some of you have been wondering, why does that happen? Well, now you know, you took it too far. You only create the C shaping and stop. Stop, for goodness sake. All right, now I'm going to turn her again. We're traveling around, still molding, see? Shape, place my finger, mold. Shape, place my finger, mold. Shape, place my finger, mold. Now what do I need? Do you see where this is going to come into this? This circle, this half C, is coming into underneath the first one. This is called an open end. So now I'm going to take it and I'm really going to put it in there. See it? Just gently right now. But do you see that C shaping? See it? Very gently. I'm not putting a ridge in there yet. Now look, I just matched it. I didn't go beyond it. Watch. This is going to match with the other one. It's not going beyond it. Watch what you're doing. Okay? Back around. This curve. And where are we? We're at the parietal line. Do you see why I teach with such detail and take baby bites? Because I could be saying, well, just take it up to here. Here is all over the head. We know where the parietal line is at. So we're going to bring this over to the parietal line. Just kind of shape it in there. We're not creating a ridge yet. We will. Bring this up. Now my mannequin is facing down, so I hope my little curl stays in there. And with as much gel, now you can see that this way, that way. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to form the ridge. So I'm going to take it, place my finger. Now what? What do I do? Place the comb, move it forward. Now what's the next step? Push it up. Switch fingers, start shaping it in the opposite direction. See that? Place my finger, mold it in. Now what? Push it up. Bring it. Exact steps again. Place my finger. Take that hair, bring it over, push it up, create that ridge. And it's not as heavy a ridge as, some people are amazing at getting those really sharp ridges in there, but they use a whole lot of gel. And you're going to have this stuff all over your hands. It kind of grows after a while. Okay, so right here, place my comb. What do? Push it back into the shaping, push it up, switch fingers, and shape it or mold it into the other line. Place my finger, place the comb, move it over to blend. Pick it up, shape it. Now, where do I want this hair to be? I want it to be right here. I don't want it to be any farther than this area because I'm matching it. So I'm going to place my finger. I'm going to match that. See, that's it. No further. Switch fingers. There you go. Let's bring it over. Place my finger. Place the comb. Move it back gently. Push it up. Switch fingers. Comb it down. And I'm pressing pretty good on the head form. So, place my finger. Push that back only to blend to this area. That's it. Place my finger. Push it back. Bring it up. Place my finger, push it back, bring it up. Place my finger, push it back, bring it up, and shape it in there. Now, again, I want to show you open end, closed end. I use this mannequin because it's highlighted, and I figured you could see it better. So I wanted to show you how to do finger waves. Now I'm going to put the mannequin straight because it's going to be easier to work. It's going to also be easier for you to see. So now on this open end, I'm going to shape it. Travel around it. Be careful. Don't just comb it out. Put your finger there or else you're going to loosen the top. Place your finger there. Mold it. Place your finger there. Mold it. And remember, you're not going to mold it like that. You're going to mold it only to form a C shaping. That's it. Now where's this hair going to go? It's going to match up with that. See it? And sometimes if you have to, use both fingers. Switch your fingers just like when you're putting in that ridge. See it? So what we're doing now is we're creating an open end on this side. I kind of lost my little finger wave here. So here, when the mannequin is bent and stuff, it's going to do that. So now we have this open end. Okay, here's your option. You can put your finger wave here and then go ahead and start shaping it back and forth, or you can fight with the ear. It's up to you. Sometimes it's okay to do this and bring it back around the ear and then try going back and forth. My solution for that is I want this to really look like a finger wave. So now I'm going to take it. This is the open end, right? I'm going to shape it. Because this side, and I'm right at the center of the occipital, right at the center, see it? Tip of the ear to tip of the ear pretty much. See the lines going back. I have my finger, move it back. If I have to switch fingers, do it. You know, so that you keep your line in there. Now what's going to happen here is this is now going to, again, it is closed, so we did it in that form, and then open. Now, standing on the side of it, I apologize, it's a little bit harder. So now on the bottom, I would definitely put my mannequin way down, bring it over, bring it over, bring it over. Are you seeing it? Bring it over, bring it over. If you try and keep your C shaping small, it's easier. If you make it too big, that's when you get lost. So now, where's the open end? On the other side. So we're going to bring it over to the other side, shape it, and bring this back now. Shape it, bring this back. Now, I forgot to do my ridge there, didn't I? Okay. Push it up, get that ridge in there. And I'm doing this kind of fast because I do want to teach you, but pause it and look at it. I forgot to do the ridge here too. Man, I thought I was perfect, man, but you know, but look at that ridge coming in as I pinch it. You see what I mean? You can do the same thing to get that in there.
2 minutes.
I have 2 minutes? Okay, so we're going to have to probably come back and show you how to do the pin curls for the finger waves, because all we have is 2 minutes right now. But what I want you to see, again, this. You see that S shaping. You see it coming around. This is going to be your hardest part, to match that. If you get that molding right, just shape it into it. You will get your finger wave in there. But remember, the finger wave starts at the upper ridge. Stays within the first C shaping, stays within the apex. The next one travels from the upper ridge to the parietal line for that C shaping. What ends up happening is people tend to take it too far back, and then they wonder why it's not working. But you're going to stay within the parietal line here, and then you're going to travel back around. So it's all the same motion, just moving it in one direction, placing your finger, move it, switch fingers, shape it, place finger, move it, switch fingers, shape it. All right, it's all of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and close. And what I could do here as well before we close, and I'm going to show you when I do the finger waves. We could, as I did with that other one, to get that, I did finger waves up here, and then right at the tragus, at the tip of the ear, you see this line right here? That's when I started my pin curls. So I want to show you how to do that, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, students, welcome back. Pin curls into finger waves. Our other one is finger waves made easy. Oh, by the way, I forgot again. My book is out. Trust your PhD stylist. If you're interested in it, I will tell you right now so that you don't call me or let me know that there are a couple. Chapter 2 has a couple of misspellings, which is annoying. The last chapter Jewel is Susan, Susan is Jewel. I don't know how that happened, but it did. But I don't want you to lose the insight of the last story. It's called A Common Bond. And it is really the fact about the heart of a sincere stylist. The heart of your stylist. How many of you really, even stylists tell each other everything as soon as they sit on that chair. You tell them everything. And that story is real close to my heart. And when you read it, just know that Jewel is Susan, Susan is Jewel. So try and, say that name, but don't lose the insight of that story. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, let me get some clippies. Our last video was on finger waves made easy. Now we're going to do finger wave pin curls. And the thing about pin curls or roller sets, anything that you do, when you're at the hairline, the best thing, and I see it so often, it happens many times, people just take rollers and they put them back and then they bring them down, and then you've got all these splits and you're wondering, how does that happen? Okay, well, when we do pin curls or when you do rollers, anything along the perimeter line at the face should have a triangular section. Now, in learning how to do pin curls for finger waves, I showed you, as soon as I get done wrapping this, I'll show you the mannequins again, but on the finger waves made easy, you'll see the different mannequins at different lengths and what pin curls going into finger waves does. All right, so I'm going to take the first one, and if you've never done pin curls, I'm going to detail. So I'm going to take a triangular part, not a rectangular part. Okay, it's going to be wide. And they're called almost zigzag parts. So you can see that that's a triangle. All right, I'm going to bring it forward. I'm going to capture that end. Now, if you have really long hair that you're doing this on, and you can do pin curls with really long hair, you take it and just wrap your fingers like this. And you can see that even that worked with the shorter hair. I'm making it going back. You're going to clip it at the base. This is going to create volume. Now, if you don't want a lot of volume, let me do another one here. This one is going to have the pointy end on the pin curl on this side. That was a wide end. See, it's zigzagged. So if you want less volume, you're going to take your pin curl and kind of lay it down a bit, and these are called arc curls. Do you see that? So I could have laid this down going back. This one is down going forward. But I am going to do them all what's called stand-up pin curls. So that one is going back. This one is going to be going forward. Now, before I move on, I really need to finish this row first. And try and make sure those ends are in there. You want them in there. So now that I'm behind this, those sections can be squares. You don't have to worry about that anymore. So this is what that short-haired one looked like. Okay, so now these are going back, and they're only going to go back, what, to the end of the apex. Just like your finger wave was. To the end of the apex. Just kind of roll it down. See that little end sticking up there? Well, put it underneath so it stays under. These are going to be coming forward. And you see that we're pretty much done. We're into the upper ridge. We're finished with that. At the perimeter line here, at the hairline. This one, and be careful not to get confused on which ones you do forward, which ones you do back, because that can happen. Now, where it gets difficult is at the lower ridge. Same thing, not different. So now we're going to take him at the lower ridge. This went back, this went forward. What direction is this going to go? Back, exactly. So back, but this time, instead of stopping there, okay, let me get that end in there. You want that end to be inside that circle when you do your pin curls. And you can use your single prong. These are single prong clips, or you can use your double prong. This is going to create volume because they are stand-up curls. So again, I have a rectangular parting. I'm going to take this back. Come on, you got to go back. You can't fight me on this. You're not going to win. So just keep going. And this is the hard part, like I said, coming here now. Because what we're going to do is we're going to travel up with it to blend. And all of these are going to be going back, but when we get to the other side, it's going to appear that they are going forward because we've traveled around the head form. So now you can see that we're up at the upper ridge, just behind the apex, traveling at this angle now, bringing it in this direction. Just let me put this in there. Another one. And then after this part, it gets to be pretty simple. After this part, you just kind of keep going. Turn the head. Again, rectangular part. So what I'm going to do before I get to the perimeter line here, I'm going to take a triangular part first and bring it forward because I don't want any splits in there. And I know that they're all coming now in this direction. And the thing about pin curls, you don't have to worry whether you're going front or back. And that's going to be a little bit of a bigger rectangle or triangular that I want, or square that I want, but it's still going to do the same thing. All that hair is traveling in the same direction. All right? So I'm going to put that clippy there. Now, I don't worry about shaping. I don't worry about molding. Okay, this was a wide end, so this is a narrow end. So the wide end is on this side, narrow end is there. So we have, again, a triangular part in there. Bring it forward, because now what? This came forward. That's got to go back. And when we get to the other side, it will be coming forward. So it's a simple method, but it creates that look. And like I said, with longer hair, I'm going to show you again. Now that can be squared. Okay, take it, place it, and just roll it. And you see that it even works with this shorter hair. But you'll just keep rolling it down into the head, and then place your clippy at the base. And now we're just between the lower ridge and the parietal line. And we're bringing them to the other side. So that's how you're going to create pin curl finger waves. And if you want them closer to the head, like I said, what you would do is bring it down and just kind of shape them up a little bit. Those are called arc curls. In other words, at a slight angle. So they're arced in there. Okay, and a little end, get in there. All right, so I'm going to do another rectangle here. And once you get past this, now I'm going to do it up until I get to the ear, so because that can be a little bit difficult. And then I'll just finish. Oops, I want to get all of that hair in there. My hands are full of gel, so. And now see, we want to go. We've matched up with this going back. Do you see that? So now what we're going to do, we're still going to travel under it. And believe me, all of this will blend. I'm going to travel under it so we can keep going forward. It will create those waves. It will create the same movement that you saw on the mannequins. This is exactly the way they were done. And I see a little tail sticking out right there. Now, if you get a tail that keeps popping out, you could actually put a bobby there. I mean, not a bobby, a single prong clip. So we know this is going forward, right? So the other side. So here, at this area, do we do another triangle or do we do, let's see, that was wide there, so yes, we will. Or else we're going to end up with a split. So a triangle part, and then this one is also going to go forward just to make it easy. So my hands are kind of slippery right now. My fingers are slippery with the gel. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one coming forward. All right, don't give me any problems. There. Come on. There. All right. Put my comb down for a minute. We know we're not supposed to put our comb down, don't we? Palm your comb. All right, now we are at this area, the tip of the ear. We've come forward. Now we're just going to go back the other way. Now what I'm going to do, I want to do it till I get to the area above the ear on this side. The reason for that, the rest of it is just going back and forth. So I'm just going to leave that for a minute. See, this is going back. Again, this was narrow, so this can be wide, so we're good there. So that part of it can go to the back of it, and this will come forward. So look at your bases. Look at what you've got. If you want that nice area of what looks like finger waves, your bases are, you know, what direction you're taking it and the base. Now see how that keeps trying to stick out? This is all you have to do. Get a single prong clip and just place it there. The only thing I don't like about that is sometimes that may leave a little bit of a ridge, but the hair's moving so much you're not going to notice it. And it's on the bottom, it'll be covered up by the other hair. So these are coming forward. Again, a rectangular. And then the rest would just go in opposite directions. How much time do I have, cameraman?
15 minutes.
15 minutes?
It's going to be a long video.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna, it's gonna bore you guys to death unless you feel that you want me to do this all the way out, you know. I mean, you're just watching me do this, and they're gonna have two separate videos, kind of, but this is 15 minutes. And, okay, so, see, I would travel up to this area, and it would all be coming this way. I'd lay my mannequin forward, and then the other one would go the other direction, this direction, the other direction. Now, when you get into the shorter hair, like this, down here, I'll be honest with you, it's hard to do. It drives you crazy, so you kind of have to put your fingers in there, wipe your fingers really good, have a towel close by, so that you can wipe your fingers and get that end in there, because you can see that, I mean, I even struggle with it, holding that end and get that, you've got to hold the hair to the scalp, all the way to the scalp. And then you get that clippy in there, and then push that little end inside the circle. Because when it's shorter hair like that, that hair tends to want to pop out. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to show you the mannequins that I did. Again, you've got a pretty good idea. They're just going to go in different directions. So this one is about the same length as that one. And you see all the different waves. Now what we did here on this one, this one was finger waved on top, pin curled on the bottom. Let me get the other one that's about the same length. What did I do with it? It's right here. Okay. This one is about the same length. And you can see. And I like it because it is got color on it. So you can see the different lines. But see, that's all we did. We put those, even though they were stand-up curls, they still went, you know, these went in that direction, these went in this direction. And it combs out that way, and it looks like finger waves. And people wonder, how did they do that? So if you have something, you know, that you want that look, and like I said, you can do it with longer hair. I mean, I've done it with girls that have hair down to their bra strap. And what happens is it lays a little closer here, but you still see those waves, As it gets to the ends, the waves pop up just a little more. The weight of that hair kind of pulls these down, but as it's not so weighty on the ends, you see a lot more curl. I don't have mannequins that length with me right now, but you see that movement, you see it coming around, and it does the same thing. Now, this is what I want to show you. No splits. You see what I'm saying? When you do it with those triangular shapes along the perimeter line, you'll get no splits. And we could even cover this up just with a little bit of back combing if we wanted to, because of the triangular shaping. So lots of stuff that you can do with it. I hope you learned something from this. I know for myself, when I was going to beauty school, finger waving was the hardest thing. But this method, I think, is going to help you. Again, pause it. What's the next step? You mold. What's the next step? You put your finger on it. What's the next step? You take just a little bit of that comb and you pull it forward. How much forward? Only to shape the C. You don't have to do a full arm swing with it. Okay, so I hope this helped you. I hope this is good for you. There's a lot that can be done with finger waves and pin curls. I love working with them. The style lasts forever. That's another cool thing about it. I mean, some people use rollers to do this. They use the smaller rollers to come in one direction and then the other. Not a bad thing to do. The only thing is you're going to run out of rollers. But, you know, if you got a whole bunch of little rollers, you can try it with that too, and it works the same way. All right, good luck. Take care. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget about my book. Remember, trust your PhD stylist. Good luck.